Ghazal by Khalvati. If I am the grass and you the breeze, blow through me. If I am the rose and you the bird, then woo me. If you are the rhyme and I the refrain, don't hang on my lips, come and I'll come too when you cue me. If yours is the iron fist in the velvet glove, when the arrow flies, the heart is pierced, tattoo me. If mine is the venomous tongue, the serpent's tail, charmer, use your charm, weave a spell and subdue me. If I am the laurel leaf in your crown, you are the arms around my bark, arms that never knew me. Oh, would that I were bark, so old and still in leaf, and you, dropping in my shade, dew to bedew me. What shape should I take to marry your own? Have you, hawk to my shadow, moth to my flame, pursue me? If I rise in the east as you die in the west, die for my sake, my love, every night renew me. If, when it ends, we are just good friends, be my friend, muse, lover and guide, Shamsuddin to my Rumi. Be heaven and earth to me, and I'll be twice the me I am, if only half the world you are to me. So what's it all about? Well, Ghazal is about expressing love for the narrator's partner. Each new stanza is written in 2 lines, conjures up new images to show their relationship. The form of the poem itself is actually called Ghazal as well, and this is an ancient form of poetry, and it was popular in Iran, India, Pakistan and Turkey. They were usually written in praise of someone and traditionally read by the upper classes because the words were complex. Famous Ghazal poets include Rumi, who is referenced in the poem, Hafez, Gupta and Muhammad Iqbal. The contemporary Ghazal is simpler in words and phrasing, which has helped to popularise it around the world. In this poem, the final word in each couplet is the same, with the penultimate word rhyming to the previous stanza. Ghazals traditionally feature the poet's name in the final stanza, and Khalvati does this quite cleverly, as I will indicate to you in the poem. So, with the word if, she's trying out different scenarios with her lover, thinking about all the different possibilities, it's clear she's very much in love with him. The anaphora, the repeated if, suggests that the narrator is continuously thinking about the lover, he's always on her mind. In the first stanza, she's using natural, gentle metaphors and imagery to suggest how close they are, and using natural imagery evokes a sense of permanence and timelessness, because the things that she's comparing her love to have been around forever and are likely to be around forever, and therefore it suggests that there's something timeless about her love. The structure of the poem is in couplets, and this can suggest the pairing of the lovers. And the enjambment from the word hang, don't hang on my lips, creates caesura, which is a slight pause on the word hang. So she's almost waiting for the cue from the next line as she talks about the cue there. This is a very sensual poem. It's possible to identify examples of sexual references throughout, and that's something that you shouldn't be afraid of commenting on in your exam. And the word if suggests a sense of uncertainty to the relationship, but also a sense of possibility. So it's really significant that that word is repeated as many times as it is. Where she talks about the iron fist in the velvet glove, she wants him to be gentle and firm with her, and there's a clear juxtaposition, a clear contrast between iron and velvet to create that effect. The arrow flying through the heart, that's a traditional image of the heart with an arrow through it, Cupid's arrow, and tattoo suggesting a permanent mark, as if the love is, again, timeless and permanent. The calming metaphors at the beginning of the grass and the breeze are also replaced by something more severe and potentially dangerous, which could suggest something about love, that she maybe isn't looking at this from a particularly idealistic point of view and is aware that love isn't always perfect. The metaphor of weaving a spell suggests that she feels entranced by her lover. A wreath of laurel leaves symbolises victory, and it's a shared victory when they're together, the laurel leaf in the crown, so they need each other to have the victory. She raises him to a higher status by referring to him as having a crown, so she treats him as if he's royalty, or raises his status above her. She compares herself to a leaf on a tree, and with the last part of the phrase, arms that never knew me, there's an implied separation there, which maybe brings a different dimension to the poem. And you can think about why she's done that. Is this someone that she is actually in love with and he reciprocates her love? Or is it someone she loves but the love is unrequited, perhaps? And that comes through in the emotion as well. A would that I were bark, and the exclamation mark as well, showing her emotion coming through. There's the natural imagery in the next stanza of being together, but with an interesting phrase, dropping in my shade, and that could suggest a power imbalance in the relationship. So before, in the previous stanza, she's kind of raised him to a higher status, but if it's her shade that she's referring to now, could that suggest that perhaps the power imbalance has been reversed? So it sums up the poem, this phrase, what shape would I take? What would she change in order to be with him? And marry, in this sense, doesn't necessarily need to mean the ceremony of marriage, but just matching. So to marry meaning to kind of match his own shape. And these are natural images of inevitability in hunting. A hawk will always have a shadow, and it's hunting, and a moth to the flame. This isn't an image of something that is going to happen. With pursue me, it's suggesting that she wants him to be the active one in the relationship and doesn't want to do all of the work. She also then, in the next stanza, puts herself in the position of the moon, and he is the sun. Is he therefore brighter and more important? Are they in fact destined to be apart, and kind of one rising as the other's dying? And the commas separating the clause my love suggest that she's addressing him in a tender manner, and she does really feel genuinely in love with him. The word when suggests that the relationship will end, and that's quite interesting, and it's something that is not usually expressed in love poetry. It isn't seen as an if, it's suggested as a when, so it does suggest that there'll be an end to this relationship. It's unconventional for love poetry to talk about this. Shamsuddin to my Rumi mentioned in the little part at the start about what's the poem about, a very important religious figure and poet. When his close friend Shams disappeared, he was inspired to write mystical poetry. And the uncertainty of the if, which has been present in most of the stanzas throughout, is now replaced with an imperative, a command word, be heaven and earth to me. And this is a more definite request for what she wants from the relationship. And this is where the traditional form of the Ghazal has the name of the poet in the final stanza. If it's twice the me, it's Mimi, and that's where she's cleverly put her name into this Ghazal. If only half the world you are to me, she's emphasising his importance to her.